Hey everybody, and welcome back to a cast by Stitch StarCraft, and today I am going to be casting a 1v1, and this is going to be a best out of 5, I believe. I'm not really sure, but I think it is going to be a best out of 5 between xGKing.Jazbas and xGKing.Jazbas. xGKing does stand for xGKing Gaming. It's a new team sponsored by Kingston Technology. And I think City Hunter Cafe. It's an internet LAN cafe in Australia, so it is an Australian-based team. And Jazbas over here is from near Australia. He is from New Zealand, and this guy I'm just going to skip iNkA a bit because most of you guys should know iNkA. If you don't, I will get to him later. But Jazbas is the guy in the spotlight today because, as you guys can see, this is another edition of my CVS World. So CVS World is basically where I cast C players, which are Southeast Asian StarCraft players, and I cast them to play against players from around the world. So people do send me replays, and these players, Jazbas actually did ask me if I could cast this, and I did choose to cast this because this is definitely going to be a great game. It's going to be a great series because it's going to be iNkA. And here's my intro on iNkA. iNkA's a very top Protoss. I've watched him stream, and this guy is absolutely phenomenal. His micro is like, I can't even keep up with his micro. His Blink Stalker is really good, and I mean, he's definitely got to be something to be part of Team Genius over here. So back to my little intro about Jazbas. Jazbas is a foreign Korean. He is actually from New Zealand, and he is a student studying jazz, and he also noticeably plays the bass. So that's probably that's the origin of his name. So yeah, guys, that's a really cool name. I mean, yeah, having a name that includes your hobby and your career and your passion, it is absolutely cool. So back to the game. It looks like, ooh, we do have the Forge Expand Nexus. So there's not much, and Jazbas is going for the pool 15 hatch. Very safe build. I'm surprised he's not getting gassed, but that looks like his type of play, and he's going to stick with that. And so yeah, Jazbas, I mean, this guy honestly just recently got super popular around Southeast Asia. This guy has been absolutely topping the ladder. And wow, he's in GM on SCA top 10, and I think he's near top 25 in NA as well on GM. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that iNkA wouldn't. He definitely can't let his guard down because this guy is definitely going to be one of his opponents on ladder. And yeah, Jazbas, he got invited to the Blizzard Invitational of 2011. So big congrats to him, first of all. And yeah, guys, keep an eye on this guy. He's really good. He has like one of the best kill-death ratios on Southeast Asia. I'm not sure about North America, but on Southeast Asia, he's definitely one of the top Zergs. So yeah, guys, check this guy out. I mean, he's new, but besides that, he is a very good Zerg player, and I hope he gets to show how good of a Zerg player he is today when he faces the one and only xGKing.Jazbas. I mean, iNkA is definitely one of the best players, best Protosses to face around North America. So, yeah, that is definitely a big matchup for Jazbas. And it looks like back into the game, Jazbas expansion is up, and check this out, guys. He is going for his fast third. I like this type of response by Jazbas. And I'm sorry, guys, I forgot to put out the production bar. Oh my goodness, facepalm myself. But yeah, guys, Jazbas, actually, his reaction to the Forge Expand is to put out a fast third. And why I love that so much is because for Protoss players, they usually start, if they start with a Forge Expand, they will spend so much time either trying to drone up and on the side also tech up. So it just gives Zergs the perfect time to drone up, get those expansions, secure it, and just basically just macro up, because I mean, there's not much to defend unless it's some sort of like a cannon rush, but obviously it isn't over here for iNkA. So Jazbas has read this game really well. He's put down a fast third. Speaking of the fast third, it's almost done, and he will soon be ahead in bases. And he will get that additional larva. So for you Zerg players, if you do see that fast forward, you can easily put down a third Expo for yourself. And it also depends on the map. In Backwater Gulch, as long as these back rocks are taken out, you do have quite an okay distance to your third. So I wouldn't say it's terribly hard to defend, but it's not the easiest. Not as easy as something like Terran, Del Arts, definitely not as easy as Tal'Darim. But yeah, looking back at the builds for our Protoss player, he's getting his 4th gas, and this is really interesting. He also has 3 gateways coming up at the same time. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts down a Twilight Council, and he does. Ooh, I love this play. It means he's probably going fast blink. And check this out. This is slow. You guys might not see this, but Jazbas has already started sending in that Overlord, and this Overlord will just scout so much off iNkA's base. He will see the Twilight Council unless unless iNkA decides to put down 3 Stalkers ASAP, but his gateway research is done, and he still isn't getting those gateways. He needs those gateways. This Overlord is coming in, and this is exciting because if Jazbas scouts it, it's going to be a huge scout, and he will obviously find out what happens, and he does scout the Twilight Council. He sees it, and he will expect Blink Stalkers as this Overlord has done his job in the scouting position. And we also have the back rocks coming down for iNkA. Looks like he's looking for his 3rd as well. Does he know that Jazbas has gone a fast 3rd? No, yes he does. He actually does know that Jazbas has gone fast 3rd. So that's a perfect reaction. And looking at Jazbas' build, he's working on the back rocks as well. And what is he going? Oh my goodness, he's going Banelings. And he's just getting his lair at 9 minutes, getting his +1 attack and +1 armor on the melee units. And wow, this is quite an interesting playstyle. I mean, we've seen Jazbas, at least from the SCA region, we've seen Jazbas play with Speedlings and Banelings against Protoss quite a lot. And I think it's safe to say he's a very phenomenal player with those 2 units. Because, I mean, he loves to go for those Baneling drops, and I would just love to see that. I mean, after the game that I casted on him vs Artosis, I mean, every replay I've watched from him, he's been just doing non-stop Baneling bombs against a Protoss. And I just don't see how he does it so well. I mean, this guy is definitely one crazy Baneling dropper. I think he would be a terrorist. He would be something near a terrorist if he were to be in real life, because he just loves dropping those bombs. No racism, I would take that back if any of you feel offended. But yeah, I mean, those Baneling bombs are pretty devastating. 2 Banelings wipe out a whole worker line. So imagine that. If you have like 6 Overlords loaded with Banelings, absolutely crazy. Yeah, and it looks like he is also, oh my goodness, I think he's preparing himself for that Baneling drop, as he is also getting the Overlord speed and the Overlord carrying upgrade, where they have the ability to carry units. This is going to be really cool. Looks like he's trying to group up his Overlords right now, but looking back at iNkA's build, he does have the Storm coming down. He's also got his armor level 1, and he also has his 3rd up, and I like what he's doing over here. One beautiful wall up here. I mean, if you've watched iNkA stream, he loves doing this with his 3rd. I've seen it so many times when he plays with Zerg. He would always do this on his third base. I mean, he would always go for the wall. Very safe, even putting extra cannons up. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys, like, straight ahead, that is no problem. Spending those extra minerals, if that saves you a whole expansion, I mean, there's nothing to lose, right? I mean, you're gonna have a lot of minerals anyways, so I absolutely love what he does with his expansions that are, you know, sort of hard to defend. And it looks like we have a Warp Prism over here. This Warp Prism, what is it going to make? It's actually stationed here, and does it see the hatchery come down? Yes, it does. Oh my goodness, iNkA's in a great position to warp in some Zealots to take down this hatchery that's building. And looking back at iNkA's base, he does have High Templars, and those High Templars do very well have Storm. So it's going to be a very important part of this game for those Storms because as you guys know, one storm can kill a lot of speedlings. And check this out, we have these overlords being loaded. Oh my goodness, these overlords are loaded, guys. I am absolutely thrilled to see what's going to happen next. We do have an overlord coming from the back. It looks like it's rally point straight into the third for a drop. And we do have zealots coming in here, and they are going to clean up the fourth. But will Jazbas go with his feelings to defend it? I think he really should. I mean, he built this fort, but it doesn't look like he's actually even deciding for it. Instead, he goes straight for the third of iNkA. And is iNkA ready for this? He's got 4 High Templars, but he just does not have enough army to tank this thing. And whoa, this is looking worse and worse right now. We do have the Overlord creeping from the back. We also have a huge army in the front with Overlords loaded as well. This Overlord will go straight for the mineral line as the main army rushes in. And here comes the Overlord. Will the cannons pick up the Overlord before the drop? It doesn't look like that's going to happen. And a lot of probes sacrificed over there, and Overlord dies. But so many probes have been killed. And here comes the main army of Jazbas. He goes straight into the natural, trying to run in there. And is he going to make it? All these feelings are dropped, but the Banelings are getting dropped straight into the third. And oh my goodness, the army of iNkA is absolutely gone, along with every single probe inside that base. Zerglings are going to come in here, and they're going to try to clean up. Stalkers are being warped in, but are the Zerglings going to have this around with some very good storm? Oh my goodness. Wow, so many speedlings dying to those storms. Wow, that was absolutely crazy, and absolutely floor of blood over there by the Zerglings. And I think actually Jazbas came off that engagement as a victory, as he did wipe out all of those pros. If we look at the lost workers count, holy crud, Jazbas just killed 38 workers, and that is an absolutely big deal when you're in the mid game. And it looks like we have a small zealot warped in. We also have some DTs. A spore crawler is there, but he really needs to wipe out that DT. He also needs to transfuse the spine crawler. The queen definitely has enough energy, and it looks like the zealots and DTs are just focusing down the hatch, and it looks like the hatch is gonna go down. Even trying to transfuse it, but the hatch goes down, and it looks like both players are now like literally just on 3 base, as the Banelings come in here, wiping out and finishing out the third. Huge explosion over there. It looks like both players are back on 2 base. Oh my goodness, this game is just getting exciting. I just really, both players are trading huge fists at each other. And it looks like right now, Jazbas is really low on his army. He just does not have enough army, but he is really well ahead in workers. He's ahead by almost 21 workers, and that is a great lead to be in. So he definitely won't be falling back in the economic side. Instead, he is actually going for the tech. He is going for ultralisks, and this is going to be very interesting. I mean, we will have ultras pop, and ultras, they are actually really well combined with speedlings and banelings and some fungal growths, because you really need to fungal those stalkers. The stalkers are really weak units in the Protoss tree. So if you can get those fungals to cancel out that blink, you can actually do a lot of damage. So I would love to see some fungals, but whether or not we will see them is another thing. And it looks like we had a drop over here. I think that was a DT, I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like it got cleaned up. Jazbas did it very smoothly. Doesn't look like he took too much damage over there. And iNkA is about to get his third up. Same with Jazbas. And Jazbas actually going for a double expand. And oh no, this Warp Prism is going to scout that hatchery building once again. Oh man, that is bad. That is bad news. He cannot, if he drops again, it looks like Jazbas is going to lose his fourth once again. And check this out, iNkA being very aware, he is actually going to warp in Dark Templars to take this expansion out. I like what iNkA is doing. His Warp Prism play is so good. I'm so definitely impressed. He has made this Warp Prism very important. I mean, without this Warp Prism, he wouldn't have taken out the third. So do notice that, guys. A Warp Prism works as a pylon, but even a moving pylon. So, I mean, yeah. They are so cost effective if you can use them correctly. And looks like iNkA over here, is he going to be preparing for a push? We do have so many ultras, and this is actually, I'm not sure. We also have Archons, and Archons, as you guys know, can tank so much damage. Zealots do okay against the ultras if they get a good surround. And it looks like both players might be engaging over here. Ultras coming in first. And who will get this engagement? Some very good storms being thrown down over there. Ultras leading the way. They are going straight for the army. But the pathing of the ultras are just terrible. And the speedings are absolutely getting destroyed over there. Blinkstar is coming back in from... Oh, I'm not sure if that was a good blink. But some very good storms. Almost every speeding has fallen. And these ultras... trying to get the stalkers, but I'm not sure that the Archons are just taking so much damage. It is absolutely crazy. We also have DTs being warped in, and I'm just not sure who's going to win. The stalkers look like they're really going down on health, and they might even get sacrificed in this engagement. Whoa! Oh my goodness, these DTs are just doing too much damage to those ultras, and even with how many Zerglings there are coming in, they are still not doing the job because the DTs are just doing way too much damage. We also have more DTs being warped in over here, 3 more. And it looks like these ultras are at a terrible position. And they actually might get cleaned up by the DTs. I like the response from iNkA. iNkA did actually decide to go for DTs to counter the ultras, and I like it because there's no Overseer in sight. And it looks like just now, Jazbas has decided to get his Overseer, which will definitely help him. I mean, the only thing that's keeping him from getting into the Protoss army is those DTs. And actually, I like what iNkA did over there. He pulled out all his probes. He didn't lose too many. But he is at a small disadvantage because it looks like Jazbas, in the meanwhile, while that attack, he did go for the gold. He will be 2 bases ahead in minerals, and he is going to look very good right now, as iNkA is really only on 1.5 bases. I mean, his natural is almost mined out. His main also almost mined out. So he really needs to look for that expansion ASAP. He's got a pylon over here. But he just really needs to execute that Nexus right now, because he's going to start falling really behind, because Jazbas is also on his 3rd level of tech, and it looks like we have a DT warping over here. The DT gets picked up and starts running away. Actually, 4 DTs gets picked up. And they start running away as there is a Spore Crawler. It looks like an Overseer right here dying instantly as it met the face of those Stalkers. Honestly, those Stalkers, I mean, if you look at those portraits, they actually look like ninjas more than anything. Yeah, they absolutely look like ninjas. I think they should have totally switched the face of the Stalker and the DT. Just what I think, I'm not sure. But I just think Stalkers look absolutely like ninjas with those like wraps around their, mouths. Yeah, you see that little thing? Yeah, it's pretty cool. But it looks like the Zerg army is preparing for an attack. It looks like he's going for the right side. And here comes the engagement. Ooh, the Protoss army looks like he's at a bad position. The Zealots coming in, but the Ultras are just not getting the position they need to be. And so many storms are being put down, and this is the best place for the Protoss to engage. He also has those Immortals doing incredible amounts of damage. These Ultras, the pathing of Ultras are just terrible, and I'm just not sure how these Ultras are going to make their way in there. The Speedlings needs to come in, but then there's also DTs doing just so much damage, and it looks like iNkA might be able to pull this off, and he defends it. Absolutely beautiful positioning over there. I like what he's doing. He's forcing the Zerg army into bad positioning and then engaging. This is definitely very good play over there by iNkA. But it looks like he's going for the counterattack. I'm just not sure if he has enough. Whoa, we have a huge mutating of Banelings. And I actually like that because we have a lot of Zealots trying to tank the damage. Also Immortals, and the second you explode those Banelings, they just do so much splash damage. And your Ultras can just clean up with the splash damage they do themselves. And it looks like Zerg army coming in here. They're going to try to push the Protoss at the gold base. And oh my god, these probes! Whoa, these probes! Wow, such monster probes running away like a marathon. But it looks like the Zerg army is going straight for the Protoss army. And here comes the Banelings from the side. And oh my goodness, they are just wiping out so many Zealots. All the Zealots fell. And Oh no, this looks bad. Just too many ultras are coming in here. Archons are also made. They can take a lot of damage, but there just isn't enough stalkers. And oh, this looks like Jazbas might be able to take this game right now. He's got so many ultras, just incredible amount of ultras. He actually got 8 ultras on the field, and that's GG for game 1. For xGKing.Jazbas and Jazbas takes game 1. Stay tuned for game 2, guys. Give me a subscribe. I really need some subscriptions right now. And I'll see you guys in the next game.